Welcome to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We are located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is the 19th of April, 2017. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we will be reading the news for today's edition of the Fayetteville Observer.
We're going to begin today with your weather for Thursday, April 19th, 2018. Today we're going to have a high of 74, turning sunny. It's going to be windy. You might not be able to ride your bike. Not as warm. Tonight we have a low of 41, clear and chilly. Moving toward tomorrow, we have a high of 67, a low of 41, plenty of warm sunshine. Saturday is the same, plenty of sunshine, 2 degrees warmer with a high of 69, and a low a little bit warmer of 45. Going to Sunday, we have a high of 71, it's warmer, and a low of 50, but it's going to be cloudy. And Monday, it will be raining and drizzle possible. High of 68, a low of 54, and it's going to be cloudy. Tuesday, occasional rain and drizzle with a high of 67 and a low of 54. Wednesday, high of 73, a low of 53, cloudy and a chance of a little rain. So it's a good time to put your plants in. Let's look at the sun and the moon. The sunrise today was at 6:39 a.m. and our sun will set tonight at 7:51 p.m. Today the moon will rise at 10:23 a.m. and set. There will not be a set. Tomorrow the sun will rise at 6:37 a.m. and the sunset Friday will be at 7:52. All right, the stages of the moon. The first moon will be April 22nd. The full moon will appear on April 29th. May 7th is the last moon, with a new moon being on May 15th. There's your weather for today. Have a wonderful, warm, sunny, and windy day.
And now we have Today in History. Today is April 19th, the 109th day of 2018. There are 256 days left in the year. Today's highlight in history: on April 19th, 1993, the 51-day siege at the Branch Davidian compound near Waco, Texas ended, as fire destroyed the structure after federal agents began smashing their way in. There were about 80 people, including 24 children, and sect leader David Koresh. They were unfortunately killed. On today's date, in 1775, the American Revolutionary War began with the battles of Lexington and Concord. On today's date in history, in 1943, during World War II, tens of thousands of Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto began a valiant but ultimately futile battle against Nazi forces. On today's date in history, in 1951, General Douglas MacArthur, relieved of his Far East Command by President Harry S. Truman, bade farewell in an address to Congress in which he quoted a line from a ballad: "Old soldiers never die, they just fade away." On today's date in history, in 1989, 47 sailors were killed when a gun turret exploded aboard the USS Iowa in the Caribbean. On today's date in 1995, a truck bomb destroyed the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, killing 168 people. Bomber Timothy McVeigh was convicted of federal murder charges, and he was executed in 2001. On today's date, in 1897, the first Boston Marathon was held. That's 1887, folks. The winner was John J. McDermott. He ran the course in 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 10 seconds. On today's date in history, in 1935, the Universal Pictures horror film Bride of Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff with Elsa Lanchester in the title role, had its world premiere in San Francisco, California. And lastly, on today's date in 2005, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger of Germany was elected Pope in the first conclave of the new millennium. He took the name Benedict XVI. And our local celebrity birthday goes to James Sloan. Happy birthday, James Sloan. I hope you have a great one today. And in other celebrity birthdays, actress Eleanor Donahue, she's 81 years old. Actor Tim Curry, he's 72. Actor Tony Plana is 66. Former tennis player Sue Barker is 62. Motorsports Hall of Famer Al Unser, he's 56. Singer-songwriter Dar Williams is 51. Actress Kim Hawthorne of TV Greenleaf is 50. Actor Ashley Judd, she is 50 years old today. Latin pop singer Luis Miguel is 48 years old. Actress Jennifer Esposito is 46. Actor James Franco is 40. Actress Kate Hudson is 39. Actress Catalina Sandino Marino is 37. Actress comedian Ollie Wong is 36. Actor Zach Conroy is 33. Roots rock musician Steve Johnston of Alabama Shakes, why, he's 33 years old today too.
Wow. And
ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up today's birthdays for 19 April 2018.
Very good. All right, we're going to go to the bank now and try to make a deposit of more than $10,000. You must have an ID necessary for bank transactions of $10,000. This is from the Live Wire Observer staff. And a question. On a recent visit to Bank of America to make a deposit for the company I work for, I was asked for my Social Security number because there was more than $10,000 in cash. I had already provided my driver's license. I refused to provide my Social Security number, and the deposit was denied. I was told by the bank manager that it was a federal law and I had to provide my Social Security number, even though I was just a messenger delivering the company deposit. Is it in fact the law, or just a Bank of America requirement? And this question is from K.A. in Hope Mills. And the answer: federal law and regulations intended to prevent criminals from laundering money come into play for bank transactions of more than $10,000. Bank of America spokesman Don Verceriello, Jr. said he could not comment on the specifics of your transaction, but he said Bank of America's procedure is for bank deposits over $10,000 from business clients is to ask for an ID plus the business entity's tax identification number. That's your tax identification number. According to the IRS website, quote, an employer identification number, or an EIN, is also known as the federal tax identification number. and is used to identify a business entity. Paul Wolverton gave us this information. LiveWire seeks to answer questions of general interest and consumer topics. Initials are used to identify questioners when names are given. And you can contact LiveWire at livewire@fayobserver.com or at 486-3516.
And for your public safety today in Cumberland County, we had several arrests. Jordan Tavares Stocks, age 23, of the 500 block of Stoneway Court. He was charged Wednesday with possessing marijuana with intent to sell and deliver, manufacturing marijuana, and misdemeanor carrying a concealed weapon. Jordan Tavares Stocks' bail was set at $10,000. Antonio Reginald McReynolds, age 33, of the 1900 block of Seabrook Road, was charged Wednesday with 3 counts of auto theft. Antonio Reginald McReynolds' bail was set at $32,500. And for break-ins in Cumberland County, we have several. On Cliffdale Road on the 6900 block, it was reported at 6:13 p.m. Tuesday that money was taken. On Pridemore Court on the 900 block, it was reported at 7:01 p.m. Tuesday that a lawnmower and tools were taken. Painters Mill Drive, it was reported at 8:15 p.m. Monday that a phone, money, and shoes were taken. And the last part of the break-ins in Hope Mills on Thrower Road, it was reported at 7:14 a.m. Monday that lawn maintenance equipment was taken. And finally, there was one vehicle break-in reported on Wilmington Highway. It was reported at 7:26 a.m. on Monday that nothing was reported missing. And this wraps up your public safety for Fayetteville, North Carolina.
All right, need to know. We have, number 1, a suicide awareness run. The 3rd annual Man 22 Suicide Awareness Run is Sunday at True Fit Gym, 2485 Hope Mills Road. Meet time is 1 p.m. and the run starts at 2. For more information, please contact Rick Murillo at 910-778-3843. Number 2, we have archaeology at Lumber River State Park. The North Carolina Office of State Archaeology will hold a public archaeology day at the Wire Pasture Access of Lumber River State Park on April 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Wire Pasture is at 11765 US 74 in Maxton. The free event will feature talks at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. on the history of the Wire Pasture property, children's activities, and more. Visitors will be able to witness an archaeological excavation and handle artifacts collected from the property. 3. Dance of the Spring Moon. The 2018 Lumbee Powwow is May 4th through the 6th at the Lumbee Tribe Cultural Center, 638 Terry Sanford Road in Maxton. It will feature tribal dancing, living history, storytelling, food, crafts, and vendors. Grand entries are scheduled for Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday at noon and 7 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m. General admission is $5 to $8, or you can get a weekend pass for $18. For more information, call 910-738-1780 or 910-521-7861, or online, go to lumbytribe.com. And last, number 4, we have a crop walk. The crop walk to fight hunger is 3 p.m. Sunday at Evans Metropolitan AME Zion Church on 301 North Cool Springs Street. 301 North Cool Springs Street. The 5K walk run with a 1-mile option raises money for the Church World Service and the Second Harvest Food Bank. It will start and finish at the church. For more information, contact Laura Lupton. Laura Lupton at 818-9938 for the crop walk. Now, we want to hear from you, listeners. Please submit your events in writing at least 10 days in advance. Or you may email your calendar at fayetteville.com or fax your details to 486-3545. If you have any more questions, please call 486-3500.
And now we have a little article from Leonard Pitts Jr. Leonard Pitts Jr. is a columnist for the Miami Herald. And his title of this little article is, "This is not really about Starbucks." Leonard Pitts says, "I don't drink coffee, so I cannot boycott Starbucks. But I would not if I could. Yes, I understand and share the national anger over the viral video of last week's arrest of 2 African American men at one of the company's Philadelphia stores. The men, who have yet to be identified, but actually they have, because Nancy, we saw it on Good Morning America this morning. At any rate, the men who have yet to be identified, as he writes, as Leonard Pitts writes, were reportedly doing nothing more threatening than waiting quietly to be joined by a man they were meeting there, having asked to use the restroom and been refused. Their waiting apparently scared the bejesus out of the manager, who immediately called the police. Cell phone video of the incident shows a white guy asking if the men are being arrested because, quote, they were black guys sitting there, unquote. An officer attempting facetiousness says yes, but his facetiousness is misplaced because obviously that's exactly why they were arrested. On the video, the white customers are apparently upset, but the men accept it placidly, as befits veterans of the exhausting job of being while black. Now, Starbucks faces a public relations nightmare as people are swearing off its lattes and macchiatos. Bad news for Starbucks, I guess. Protesters have appeared at the Philadelphia store. Quote, Starbucks coffee is anti-black, unquote. They all chanted. Shame on Starbucks, one sign declared. But Starbucks is not the point. To pretend it is a comforting fiction. It allows the company to apologize, vow to do better, and move on. It allows protesters to feel righteous at having proven that they will not tolerate intolerance. Meanwhile, we know as a statistical matter of fact that somewhere there is a little boy that has been suspended from school for a minor infraction because he is black. And elsewhere, a desperately ill woman just denied sufficient medication to ease her pain because she is black. And a highly qualified applicant was just passed over for the job of her dreams because she is black. And sometime soon, Another unarmed man will be shot by police because he is black. Most of it won't make the news, and if it does make the news, we will treat it as if we are treating Starbucks as an individual, albeit outrageous story requiring good people to rise up in protest. But you see it, everyone. These are not individual stories. Oh no. It's all the same story. The circumstances have just changed. Yes, but the story never does. Nor does the moral thereof, which is America is a nation still infected with the same idiocy that has bedeviled us since before Thomas Jefferson wrote those noble words he didn't believe about all men being created equal. Now as then, some of us think you can judge a person's intentions and worth just from the color of his or her skin. They may heatedly deny that they believe this. They may not even know that they believe this, but they believe it just the same. So it's useless to single out Starbucks for opprobrium. Granted, it may come out of it like Denny's and Cracker Barrel before it. Has a corporate culture of denigrating black customers, in which case the company deserves all the opprobrium we can muster. But absent that development, what happened in Starbucks isn't really about Starbucks, nor are police shootings of unarmed black men really about police or the denial of palliative care to sick black people really about doctors. No, it is the same story, and the story is all about us, about we the people and the truths we claim to hold self-evident, but really don't. Last week, the story unfolded at Starbucks. It could just have easily been the Red Lobster or Mickey D's. It still could. So to make this about Starbucks is to let the real culprit off the hook. This is the coffee maker's embarrassment, yes, but it is America's ongoing shame. If you have any questions about Leonard Pitt Jr.'s article, you can write him at Leonard Pitts Jr., the Miami Herald, 1 Herald Plaza, Miami, Florida, 33132. Or, if you like, you can contact him via email at lpitts@miamiherald.com.
All right, again, it's Thursday, April 19th, 2018. From the Fayetteville Observer opinion section, this is an editorial. It might be contributed by an educator. Like me, I'm a former teacher. They still can't figure out how to get money to the school system. Nothing fair about North Carolina school funding. Cumberland County Commissioners this week decided to wait before making a new funding recommendation for the school system. Although the biggest portion of school funding comes from the state, the county annually sends about half of its property tax revenue to the schools. Last month, the county's Finance Committee had recommended that commissioners change the way they fund the schools, basing it on enrollment rather than revenue. This isn't about pocket change. The Finance Committee had recommended sending nearly $80 million to the schools. On Monday, the commissioner sent the issue back to the Finance Committee for further study. That's likely a good idea. In truth, with a new school superintendent arriving on July 1st, the best plan would be to use the old formula one more time and then have some discussions with the new leader and the school board later this year. The bottom line is really what it's been for a long, long time. The schools don't have enough money to do their job. But the stress on the county isn't the only roadblock to educational excellence. If anything, the local funding formula should be easy compared with the ongoing attempts to get sufficient funding from the state. Since the recession, the state school budgets have been cut repeatedly. Even as some of those cuts were restored, our per capita education funding in North Carolina still lags far behind where it was in pre-recession times. This is especially an issue in low-wealth communities that don't have the tax revenues to supplement state funding. Places, for example, like Robeson and Hoke County, where I taught, where tax revenues are low, but the school populations are large. Early this week, the NC Supreme Court heard arguments from a group of parents and students from Halifax County who say county commissions haven't fairly distributed local tax money, forcing students to contend with fewer education offerings and dilapidated school buildings. Students in Halifax County public schools are 85% black, and 94% of them qualify for free or reduced price lunch, a measure that indicates high poverty levels. Yet the county school system gets little county funding. They want that to change. The State Court of Appeals issued a dividing ruling last year, saying that the Leandro decision 2 decades ago established that the state has the constitutional obligation to provide a basic education for everyone, and that the Halifax group's beef is with the state, not the county. The court said the complaint should go to the governor and legislature, not the county commissioners. If the state Supreme Court decides otherwise, that could put a whole new spin on the way this county, and really all 100 of North Carolina's counties to fund education. Another reason why Cumberland County's commissioners shouldn't rush to come up with a new funding school formula. Any suggestion that this state maintains a uniform system with equal opportunities is laughable, and Leandro is one of the most important and least enforced state Supreme Court decisions of our time. The General Assembly has largely ignored it and felt no consequences. And any court that relieves counties of responsibility for school funding is ignoring reality. Giving the counties a funding guideline would be a great improvement, and so would enforcing Leandro.
And before I begin the 30-minute warning, we would like to give a shout out to one of our readers out there that did a great job for the Southeastern North Carolina radio reading service. We'd like to give a shout out to Jennifer. Give Jennifer a shout out, Nancy.
Yay, Jennifer!
Go girl, you can do it. The time now is almost 10:30 in the morning, and I'd like to remind you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service. It is a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or call the toll-free number 844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are proud to serve you today.
All right, we have 2 to get 10 years on federal charges by Nancy McCleary, staff writer. 2 Fayetteville men were sentenced to 10 years 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to stolen firearm offenses, according to a release from the Office of the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of North Carolina in Raleigh. Brian Lamar Martin, age 22, and Kiwanis Rogers, age 22, faced federal charges after breaking into a Robeson County home and stealing 18 firearms, the release said. Martin pleaded guilty November to one count of possession of firearm by a felon, while Rogers pleaded guilty in December to possession of a stolen firearm and possession of a firearm by a felon. In September 2016, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office responded to a report of a robbery at a home in St. Paul's, the release said. Victims told them Martin and a man, later identified as Rogers, were invited into the residence. Once inside, Martin brandished a gun, while Rogers took 18 guns from a safe. As they drove away, their vehicle overturned into a ditch, the release said. They ran away but left a weapon behind. Lawmen recovered it and identified it as one of the stolen weapons. About a week later, agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms went to a Fayetteville residence where Rogers had been staying. The homeowner consented to let agents search the residence, and they found 2 of the stolen guns. In early 2017, Martin was identified by the victims, who saw his picture in media outlets after he was charged with the first-degree murder of 26-year-old Rakeem McGugan. He was found inside his car with a gunshot wound after it crashed into a home on Strickland Bridge Road. McGugan later died at Cape Fear Valley Medical Center. Both men admitted their roles in the robbery, the release said. Wow, it's a lot of crime.
It is a lot of crime. Boy, this guy's been busy.
I'm telling you. Staff writer Nancy McCleary, you can reach Nancy at nmcleary@fayobserver.com, or you can call Nancy at 486-3568.
And now we have a letter to the Observer. This is an aspect of the letters to the Observer that I cannot quite grasp. This letter to the Observer was written by a man from Wayne, Michigan. Why is this man from Wayne, Michigan writing a letter to the Observer from Michigan?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. But here goes. The title of it is "A Congressman's Concern is Misplaced." Concealed carry reciprocity is a quiet federal level agreement to force all states and territories to recognize each other's concealed carry laws. The leadership of the National Rifle Association has been telling its members that this is a good thing. Representative Richard Hudson from North Carolina introduced it into the House of Representatives based on an incident where a woman from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, drove to Atlantic City, New Jersey with a concealed weapon, was stopped for some reason, and arrested for carrying a hidden gun. She said she did not know New Jersey does not recognize Pennsylvania's concealed carry laws, even though she has lived in Pennsylvania and worked in New Jersey. A North Carolina politician who apparently espouses states' right got upset about a woman heading into the gambling dens of Atlantic City from Philadelphia with a hidden weapon. He appeared angry because those 2 states, neither of which he represents, does not recognize each other's concealed gun laws. Mr. Hudson, and that is Representative Richard Hudson from North Carolina, comes from a quaint and quiet region in North Carolina. Very little manufacturing, no organized gambling, lots of farms, struggling economy, and poor education opportunities. At least this representative did one thing in Congress, even if it was not for the people he represents. Concealed carry reciprocity is the first step in the creation of a national police force that would displace and control local law enforcement. And this would allow the federal government to leapfrog state and county governments and crush local control. Does anyone have anything else for Mr. Hudson to do? This letter to the Observer was written by Alfred Brock from Wayne, Michigan. And it appears that Alfred Brock is very impressed with our own Representative Richard Hudson from North Carolina, because he feels that every state should recognize the gun laws and it should be all across the United States the same, and that makes sense. But what I don't understand is how Alfred Brock from Wayne, Michigan got wind of what our newspaper has printed, and unless he went online to Fayetteville Observer and read about it. What do you think, Nancy?
That's what he did.
Must have been very interesting. But now it's time for some news from you, Nancy.
I'm going to go to Myron B. Pitts. He's talking about councilman is a man against the city. Who do you think we're talking about?
I believe that is the one that is involved with Prince Charles and that $100,000. I think his name is
Tyrone
Williams. Tyrone Williams. Yes, that's him.
Tyrone Williams is now the man against the city of Fayetteville. All 9 of the city councilman's colleagues asked him to resign on April 9th after a recording captured him secretly trying to get $15,000 out of a developer on a major city project connected to the baseball stadium. Williams said he would not resign. At Monday's meeting, he announced he planned to no longer recuse himself from votes on the stadium or the development project involving Prince Charles Holdings. Keep in mind the recusal was his idea to begin with, because he said he had a conflict with Prince Charles Holdings. Now he says he doesn't have a conflict. To be clear, there is nothing to be gained by Williams voting on these projects. Most stadium votes have been unanimous or passed by comfortable majorities. Any future votes would easily pass without him. The decent thing for him to do is to leave it alone and keep his penny-antiness separate from the city's more than $100 million economic development project. The only possible consequence of Williams' voting would be to poison the council's votes, thanks to his conflict of interest and ethical breaches. Everyone on the council knows this, including Williams. So the other members will just vote to excuse him from voting so he can't vote. We're not going to let him jack up all our votes on the stadium, a source close to the process told me. I can only speculate as to the rogue councilman's motives, since he doesn't talk to the media. But this erratic move feels like a prideful man lashing out after being caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He may dig in and pursue a scorched earth approach, trying to add confusion and delay to the project, which incidentally is in his district. It won't stop progress. Houston Astros officials confirmed again Tuesday their commitment to bringing a minor league baseball team here in 2019 and have previously committed to a 30-year contract with the stadium. By the by, if there was no conflict of interest before the December 21 meeting, the meeting itself created one. Williams received no money from Jones. He instead got an FBI investigation rolling after Jones went to the cops. Poppy said in his letter he had no reason to think his client is under an active law enforcement investigation for dealings with Prince Charles Holdings, but that has nothing to do with Williams' conflicts. The councilman has plenty of reason to hold a grudge against the company and Jones. He cannot cast an honest vote on anything involving them. Poppy said in his letter the people of District 2 elected Williams, quote, to be their representative to the Fayetteville City Council, unquote. Yes, they did. If only the man against the city had thought about those voters instead of trying to line his own pockets. Just 2 weeks after his swearing in, we wouldn't be in this mess. Columnist Myron B. Pitts can be reached at mpitts@fayobserver.com, or you can give Myron a call at 486-3559.
And some news in brief. U.S. manufacturers seek relief from the tariffs. President Donald Trump's tariffs on imported aluminum and steel are disrupting business for hundreds of American companies that buy those metals, and many are pressing for relief. Nearly 2,200 companies are asking the Commerce Department to exempt them from the 25% steel tariff, and more than 200 other companies are asking to be spared the 10% aluminum tariff. Other companies are weighing their options. Jody Flederman, the CEO of Batesville Tool and Die in Indiana, says American steelmakers have already raised their prices since Trump's tariffs were announced last month. CEO Jody Flederman says he may have to shift production to a plant in Mexico where he can buy the cheapest steel. And in Los Angeles, California, largest maker of bump stocks is shutting down. The largest manufacturer of bump stocks, which allows semi-automatic weapons to fire rapidly like automatic firearms, announced Wednesday that it will stop taking orders and shut down its website next month. The announcement comes about a month after President Donald Trump said his administration would ban bump stocks, which he said turn legal weapons into illegal machines. The devices became a focal point of the national gun control debate when they were used in last October, when a man carried out the deadliest mass shooting in modern history, and I believe that was in Las Vegas, Nevada. Nancy?
All right. I wish my mother could see this article. The Fort Bragg schools, my mother was a Fort Bragg school teacher. The Fort Bragg school has dedicated naming an elementary school to civil rights pioneer Mildred Poole. Amanda Dolinsinski wrote this article, and there's a big, beautiful picture of Gwen Bell talking to students at the school that was dedicated to her grandmother, Mildred B. Poole, on Wednesday. So we now have an elementary school named Mildred B. Poole, named after this woman, not after a soldier. Linden Oaks, children of different ethnicities, helped dedicate a new school on Fort Bragg to the woman known for defending equal education for all children. The Mildred B. Poole Elementary School, named for the woman who opened a Fort Bragg school to black students before Brown versus Board of Education forced integration, and was dedicated Wednesday during a ceremony on its front lawn. This school is located in the Linden Oaks Military Housing Community off NC 87 in Harnett County, and it serves about 530 children in pre-kindergarten through 5th grade. Now Poole, she died at age 92 in Fayetteville. She is the first non-soldier to have a school on Fort Bragg named in her honor. She would have been so pleased, said Gwen Bell, Poole's granddaughter, She and other family members attended the ceremony.
And now we have a little article that I'm sure everyone is interested in, because I went to Walmart the other day and I was in the dairy section and there were no eggs. All the eggs had disappeared.
They were gone.
They were all gone, and we were going, holy smokes, what happened, Batman? And here's the title of the article: The Spread of Filth Found Before the Egg Recall.
Good heavens.
This was written by Jen Scorit and Megan Durison. And I believe they were they write for the Associated Press. Before a U.S. farm voluntarily recalled 207 million eggs, governmental inspectors found rodents scurrying in manure pits, equipment that was coated with grime and food debris, and outside there was a large swarm of flying insects that were just, well, quite frankly, too numerous to count. Unsanitary conditions were found during multiple inspections of a Rose Acre Farm facility in Hyde County, North Carolina, that allowed for the proliferation and the spread of filth and pathogens throughout the facility that could cause the contamination of egg processing equipment and eggs, according to a report from the Food and Drug Administration detailing inspections. A review of the farm's pest control records flagged an ongoing rodent infestation, with rodents, dead carcasses, and baby mice observed, along with workers who weren't following proper sanitary practices.
Oh, man.
Yeah. The farm voluntarily recalled the eggs earlier last week after more than 20 consumers became ill from a suspected salmonella poisoning. The recall is the largest egg recall in the United States since 2010, when more than 550 million eggs were recalled from 2 Iowa farms, according to the website Food Safety News. The FDA's inspection report, quote, is based on raw observations and in some cases lack proper context, unquote. Gene Grabowski, an outside spokesman for Rose Acre Farms in North Carolina. The company is preparing a formal response to the report, and until then, we would urge everyone to wait until all the facts are presented before rushing to judgment. Throughout a March 28 review, federal inspectors, quote, observed condensation dripping from the ceiling pipes and down walls onto production equipment, unquote. And that water, or that condensation, was pooling on the floors, said the FDA. Employees were found in violation of proper sanitary procedures, and a steel wool scrubber used to clean debris off equipment was stored on a cart in a dustpan that had a pool of water floating with debris and grime.
My goodness.
On one visit, inspectors saw, quote, at least 25 flying insects, unquote, in the egg processing facility that were landing on food. They were landing on food production equipment, and they were landing on contact surfaces, according to this report. But I'll tell you what, whoever owned that farm is out a lot of money, because 207 million eggs, that brings in quite a revenue.
That's a lot of eggs.
Nancy?
Telling you.
All right.
Now, do you think Columbo could come to Lumberton and help us out?
You mean the guy on TV?
Yeah, we need a detective.
You know? And another thing,
That's him.
with his little cigar and his
That's
pet
him.
dog.
Questions linger year after year for the deaths of 3 Lumberton women. Please pay attention, because you can solve this crime, and if you have the proper information, You can be paid $30,000 to help solve this crime. 1 year ago, Lumberton police discovered the bodies of 2 women who were found in a 4-block radius on the city's east side. A third woman's body was found in the same 4-block area on June 3rd. Still, Lumberton police and the FBI, which is assisting with the investigation, continue to look for the person or persons who killed the women, federal agency said in a news release Wednesday. Last month, the FBI conducted a door-to-door canvass in Lumberton, said Shelley Lynch, a spokeswoman for the FBI office in Charlotte. Agents knocked on approximately 800 doors and conducted 500 interviews over a 3-day period. The bodies of Kristen Bennett, age 32, and Rhonda Lynn Jones, age 36, were found on April 18th in separate locations about 500 feet apart. Bennett was found inside an abandoned house on Peachtree Street. Jones was discovered in a trash can on the 700 block of East 5th Street. On June 3rd, the body of Megan Ann Oxendine, age 28, was found outside a house on East 8th Street. A cause of death for the women has not been determined, Lynch said. Police investigators have deemed the deaths suspicious because of where the 3 were found. Police Chief Michael McNeil renewed his plea for help from the community to find who is responsible for these deaths. Quote, as police chief and as a member of this community, I want to know what happened to Christina, Rhonda, and Megan, McNeil said in the release. I also understand there's a lot of uncertainty, concern, and even fear right now. Let me reassure you that we are committed to finding out the answers. We hope the people of Lumberton will help us. In January, the FBI announced a $30,000 reward for information that would help investigators determine what led to the deaths of the women. The reward continues to be offered, Lynch said. Investigators continue to ask anyone who was in contact with the woman to come forward and help them create a timeline to learn when they were last seen alive, the release said. Every part of our work benefits from help we receive from the public, said Special Agent John Strong, head of the FBI operations in North Carolina. So we ask you, please pick up the phone and call us. Tell us what you know, what you heard, and what you saw. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI, their office in Charlotte, at 704-672-6100. That's calling the FBI office in Charlotte at 704-672-6100. And staff writer Nancy McCleary can be reached at nmccleary@fayettevilleobserver.com, or you may call her at 486-3568.
And now we have a little something for everybody. Each one of us needs to really pay attention to. It's time to spruce up Fayetteville. That's right. Okay, Fayetteville. It's time for our annual house cleaning.
House cleaning or yard? Both.
House cleaning.
Okay.
At least for a few days, we may look a little neater than usual. Saturday is Fayetteville's beautiful annual city-wide cleanup. This organization works to make this a neater, cleaner, better-looking city, and it has succeeded in many ways. But the most dramatic is the City Litter Pickup Drive, which last year drew nearly 680 participants who picked up more than 12,000 pounds of litter and garbage. This year's event will be the 14th citywide cleanup. The past 13 have removed more than 140 tons of litter along 216 miles of roadside.
Wow.
Given what we can see in our trips around town, it should not be hard for volunteers to set a new record this year. This year's cleanup is on Saturday. It's headquartered at the entrance to Cross Creek Park on Greet Street. Volunteers can pick up litter bags, you can pick up gloves, and you can pick up bottled water there Saturday morning from 8 to 9:30 a.m. Go to www.fayettevillebeautiful.com to sign up online and to view an interactive map. We wish you good pickings to all. But Nancy, something that is terrible about this, it seems like people just don't care anymore and they just throw garbage out their windows while they're driving.
Everywhere.
It's all over the place. I can't believe it.
It's white sacks of trash.
We should never have to have an event like this. People should take their garbage home and put it in their own garbage can so the garbage or sanitation service can pick that up instead of throwing it out your window. I've seen all kinds of stuff like dirty baby diapers and
you name it.
And fast food service bags and even people throw out their garbage bags on the side of the road. It's incredible. What in the heck is wrong with people?
We talk about it, you and I.
We do all the time. I don't know. I say they're trying to beautify Fayetteville streets and roads by throwing out pretty garbage everywhere, but it's not working, people.
Okay, we're going to talk about Mrs. Bush and Karen Tumulty has an article for us. She says, quote, "In many ways, Bush's life was the very definition of female empowerment. Yes, it came from privilege, but it also sprang from the core of her character. Barbara Bush's strength and her appeal was her comfort with who she was. When Wellesley College invited Barbara Bush to speak at its 1990 graduation, protests broke out on campus. 150 students spelled out their objections in a petition to the school's president at that time, Nenarel Kihone. Wellesley teaches that we will be rewarded on the basis of our own merit, not on that of a spouse. To honor Barbara Bush as the commencement speaker is to honor a woman who has gained recognition through the achievements of her husband, which contravenes what we have been taught over the last 4 years at Wellesley. They received sympathy from an unlikely source, the then First Lady herself, who with her typical bluntness said she found their complaints very reasonable. Bush dropped out of Smith College during her second year, there to marry, she claimed, the first boy she had ever kissed. And from the point of view of 1990s feminism, that path would hardly have looked more retro. They're 21 years old, and they're looking at life from that perspective. I don't disagree with what they're looking at, Bush said of the Wellesley student objections. I choose to live the life I've lived, and I think it's been a fabulously exciting, interesting, involved life. And in many ways, Bush's life was the very definition of female empowerment. Yes, it came from privilege, but it also sprang from the core of her character. Bush's strength and her appeal was her comfort with whom she was. She said what she thought, let her hair go white, and rejected the glamour and excess of her predecessor, Nancy Reagan. She was as authentic as her pearls were fake. Bush would become one of the most popular first ladies in modern history, a matriarch to the nation. At the end of your life, she told the graduating class, you will never regret not having passed one more test.
The time now is 11 o'clock in the morning. It is 19 April 2018, Thursday. And I would like to remind each and every one of you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or call that toll-free number 844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are proud to serve you today.
Okay, we're going to go to the obituaries and news. The death notices. The following deaths have been reported. Please see upcoming editions of the Fayetteville Observer for complete obituary information. In Cumberland County, Stacy Donald Bryan, age 68, of Eastover, Affordable Cremations of North Carolina. Renate Inga Dean, age 17, of Fayetteville, Affordable Cremations of North Carolina. Mark Burrows, age 66, of Fayetteville, Wiseman Mortuary. Darian M. Bradley, age 34, of Fayetteville, Wiseman Mortuary. Betty Jean Betts, age 60, of Parkton, Affordable Cremations of North Carolina. In the Cape Fear region, Robert Eugene Matter, Jr., age 51, of Wilmington, Affordable Cremations of North Carolina. Marcia R. McCormick, age 62, of Fairmont Hills Funeral Home. Now, funerals going on today. Tanner Richard Tanner, age 63, of Salemburg, 7 p.m. Butler Funeral Home in Roseboro. Robertson Kelly, of Fayetteville, 11 a.m. Christus Victor Lutheran Church, Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Services. In Cumberland County, Vernon W. Williford. Eastover, Vernon Wayne Williford earned his wings on April 17, 2018, after a hard but brief struggle with cancer. Visitation will take place at Jernigan Warren Funeral Home on Thursday, April 19, 2018, from 6 to 8 p.m. Funeral will take place on Friday, April 20th at 11 a.m. at Bluff Presbyterian Church in Wade, followed by the burial at Old Bluff Cemetery. All are welcome to attend and to celebrate Vernon's life. Maxie Gary Dove III in Hope Mills. Maxie passed away Tuesday, April 17, 2018, in his home surrounded by his family. The family will receive friends from 5 to 7 p.m. Friday, April 20th, followed by a celebration of life at Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Services of Hope Mills. Warren W. Winter. Warren was 46, of Fayetteville, North Carolina. He passed away on Sunday, April 15, 2018. Private services will be held at a later date. Vincent E. Carlisle from Spring Lake. died Saturday, April 14th, 2018. The funeral will be Friday at 12:30, Williams Chapel Church, Spring Lake, and the viewing will be at Wiseman Mortuary Thursday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Burial at Cumberland Memorial Gardens, Wiseman Mortuary. Robert Edmond from Fayetteville. Robert, age 70, of Fayetteville, died Wednesday, April 11th, 2018. His funeral will be Friday at 10 a.m., Wiseman Mortuary, with a chapel viewing, Wiseman Mortuary Chapel, Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The burial will be at Sand Hills State Veterans Cemetery, the Wiseman Mortuary. Hedda H. Kunert. Mrs. Hedda Kunert passed peacefully April 16, 2018. The celebration of life will be held 2 to 4 p.m. Saturday, April 21st, at her home. In lieu of flowers, please make an online donation in her honor to the Cape Fear Regional Theater at www.cfrt.org. Jernigan Funeral Home. Thelma C. Collins from Fayetteville. Thelma, 75, died Wednesday, April 11th, 2018. Funeral will be Friday at 6 p.m. Garden of Prayer Missionary Baptist Church in Broadview, Illinois. The burial will be at Dodge Grove Cemetery, Mattoon, Illinois, Wiseman Mortuary. Philip Muhal from Hope Mills. Philip Muhal, age 55, of Hope Mills, died Monday, April 16, 2018. The memorial will be Sunday at 3 p.m. Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Services, Hope Mills. Visitation, Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Services, Sunday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
And the obituaries in the region and elsewhere. Donald Harold Long, age 79, of Pinehurst, died Saturday, 14 April 2018. The memorial will be on Tuesday at 2 p.m. at the Bowles Funeral Home located in Southern Pines. The visitation will follow the service. The Bowles Funeral Home of Southern Pines has been entrusted with those services. Archie Neal Galloway, age 78, of Lumberton, died Tuesday, 17 April 2018. There will be a graveside service on Friday at 11 a.m. at the Meadowbrook Cemetery in Lumberton. The visitation will be at the graveside following the service. The Floyd Mortuary has been entrusted with those funeral services. Mary Alice Johnson, age 85, whether you knew her as Mary Alice or Tinny, well, she went home to be with her Lord on Tuesday, 17 April 2018. The funeral services will be held at 2 p.m. on Saturday, on the 21st of April, at the Autryville Baptist Church located at 425 East Williams Street in Autryville, with the Reverend Michael Bartlett and Reverend Ronald Long officiating. The burial will follow at the Butler Family Cemetery in on Pumpkintown Road in Autryville. The visitation will be held from 7 to 9 p.m. on Friday, 20 April, at the Butler Funeral Home located at 401 West Roseboro Street in Roseboro, and other times at the home of Kenneth and Linda. Their address is 7600 Autryville Road in Autryville.